What's happening, Andy? Here I am joined today by Dominic, Jeremy, and Ross. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hey, Andy.
Good,
Doing great today.
great seeing you. What's happening? I have some. You have some news. Thought we'd maybe time this around a big announcement you guys are in the process of making. First, before we get into the announcement, let's talk about what do you guys do over there at ecoprintQ, Dominic, and then we'll move down to you guys, Jeremy and Ross. So just a quick background on who you guys are and your roles within your companies. Dominic.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks, Andrew. Andy. So first and foremost, I know we get on a lot of these calls and interviews, and we seldomly remember to thank you. So I wanted to
Thank
thank
you.
you, sincerely for the continued efforts and support that you do a fantastic job with serving our channel.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
So yeah, absolutely. So Dominic with ecoprintQ. I'm the COO and pretty much oversee our sales, marketing, business development pieces for ecoprintQ. And we offer an array of solutions. So we have a couple of core products, and today we're actually going to talk about one product that we're adding to our portfolio, primarily to support our dealer channel.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Jeremy, why don't you go next? Give us a little bit
Yeah,
of you.
sure. So thanks for having me, Andy. Appreciate it. My name is Jeremy Hummer. I'm the VP of Business Development for AuthX. I've been with the company since the very beginning. So although my title is VP Business Development, I really wear tons of different hats, and I kind of live in between our sales team and our dev team to continue to grow the platform out so that we're meeting all the challenges that it's presented to us as obviously the different verticals and the different landscapes change.
Very cool. And how about you, Ross? You're save the best for last.
Save the best for last. I love it. Yeah, my name is Ross Wood. I'm with ecoprintQ. I've been in the industry for about 11 years now. I actually came from the dealer side and did that for several years and moved over to ecoprintQ. And we've been doing a lot of great things in terms of, print management software, scanning solutions, and a lot of things that really tied to the typical copier dealer model and supported their go-to-business strategies. And this is a very exciting announcement, this new partnership between ecoprintQ and AuthX to not only bring to our typical channel, but anybody who's interested in diversifying their portfolio and their offering to their customers. It's really no secret that copier dealers have been looking to diversify their offerings, right? Managed services, IT, Office 365 setup and management for customer environments. They're looking for other ways to be sticky. And AuthX is the perfect complementary solution, ties very well with our current portfolio here at ecoprintQ, but also gives those dealers that opportunity to expand their offerings and really have a splash in in the markets that they serve.
Well, I love about you guys that you have people that had worked at dealers. I know Dominic, we've talked about how you were with Dex for a long time. Ross, you've had your experience with dealers. So, you've seen both sides of it. I think that's really important, especially going forward when you're picking new technology, because you can kind of sit there and look at a product and say, how would I have used that? What would that have helped me with? And I think that there's a lot of value to that. Dominic, why don't you maybe just take us back and
Yeah.
talk about the opportunity? What is it about AuthX that you that drew you to them and made you want to bring them into the portfolio? I know it's not an easy thing to do to bring a new company in. You've got there's a lot of background, a lot of support set up. What was it that got things going? And I guess we'll take it from there.
Yeah, Andy, you're right on point. We take very serious when we add a product to our portfolio, and it is a big undertaking. So primarily when we consider, adding a product to our portfolio, we look about three key factors. And I'm going to summarize it. I'm going to try to get through it as quick as possible. So product features and functionality is one. The people behind the product is two. And then channel alignment is three. So when we go to the first tier is product features and functionality, we typically thoroughly analyze the product, the capabilities, and AuthX has clearly positioned itself a leader in this space. So the solution is nothing short of exceptional. And traditionally, it doesn't stop there, right? So then the next piece is the people behind the product. The product could be the best product in the world, but the people is super important.
Mhm.
And we play close attention to the team behind the technology. So a couple of things that we look at is the culture, the passion, and the commitment to delivering a best-in-class customer experience. And with that, again, AuthX has exceeded our expectations. And then thirdly, we look at channel alignment because, of course, ecoprintQ's go-to-market strategy is 100% channel driven. So when adding a new product, it is crucial that the company shares a strong commitment to the channel, including having clear policies that prevent channel conflict and promote partner success. So ultimately, when we look at a product, to summarize that, we seek partners that align with ecoprintQ's values, culture, strategic approach, organizations that feel like a natural extension of our own team. AuthX has not only met, but they continue to exceed our expectations on all categories across the board. And we're looking forward to a great relationship and supplying this to our channel.
Very cool. So
Yep.
to just dive in a little bit, I want to find out get a better understanding of, maybe from you, Jeremy, what does it do? What is AuthX? How, what is the product? What is the solution? People really familiar, I think, with ecoprintQ for their management services. They're, a major paper cut reseller. They brought on partners like Umango and others over the years. So, clearly they like to add and piece things together. Where do you fit in? What does your program do?
Yeah, so we're a passwordless login solution. So allowing a user to log into their workstation using multiple different modes of authentication. Our most successful and the one that's used the most is the RFID badge. So when you think about large office buildings, hospitals, things along those lines, they typically have the badge. They use it for getting their parking garage, get into their office, go and obviously make print copies a lot of times in some of these offices. So it's just an extension of that, especially as these passwords have become so long, so complex, asking you to change every 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I'm at the point now where I can't even use any other family members, and I use Senses now, and it's all over the place, right? So this is a way to efficiently log into your workstation, not only for just ease of use, but also to again speed up that process. When you think about a hospital where we do a lot of business, obviously, those seconds, that 30 seconds that a provider is logging into that computer, if you erase that, that adds up to well over an hour throughout the day that he or she is not in front of their keyboard typing in this password and missing a capital letter or whatever that is, having to start again and go back and do it again. This allows them to walk in, tap the badge, unlock the computer, do their work, do their charting, and on to the next patient. And within that, there's workflows like shared workstations. So I come in, I tap, I do my work, I leave. Dom can come right behind me, tap, he goes in, does his work, he leaves. Ross comes right behind Dominic, sorry, and taps and does his work. So it's about efficiency, but it's also about security. And to Dom's point, we really started as a technology first company. So we focus on everything from a technical standpoint before we even think about bringing it to market. So our platform for being around, for a short amount of time, we're talking less than 5 years in the market, it's extremely robust in what it has to offer versus any of the competitions that's out there.
So it's RFID driven, or do you provide the RFID technology, or is that through a different partnership? Is this your technology? How does this work out?
Yeah, so the technology is ours. We've built the technology. We do work with partners for the RFID cards as well as the RFID readers, but we've also built 12 different modules of authentication that eliminates any of that need for those extra that extra hardware. So again, the RFID in a scenario where there's physical access to get into a door, get in a parking garage or a print station, obviously the RFID card is something that they always have with them anyways. But when you start to get into education and things along those lines, some of our other modules of authentication really become more prevalent, like facial authentication, stare at the integrated camera on the workstation, log in, fingerprint, phone-driven different modes of authentication. So we've really built the system to be able to be of value to various different verticals that are out there.
It sounds like it makes it much easier to just keep everything together. Over to you, Ross. Let's talk about, you guys do have a lot of experience with RFID already, especially in the
Mhm.
print world. You're a big Elitech partner. I think you've got other partners as well.
Yep.
So, this kind of fits right in with that. Is this an extension? Is this a step up? Is this another program? Where does this fit with what you're already doing, and how do you think the dealers are gonna gravitate towards it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually what made this really easy for me when we were looking at different products that we could bring to the market for our reseller channel is what do we have that works with other solutions and other types of hardware that we provide? And we do provide ELATEC, RFIDs, and HID card readers. And the fact that AuthX not only provides the push notifications to the phones, the facial, the fingerprint, all of these other great ways to be able to do it, a lot of times really does tie back to, hey, we just want a tap of the badge using the same key fob or badge or whatever they carry with them. They want to use and leverage their existing technology just for more things. And logging into the computer was no different. So the fact that all of our reseller partners already go to market and talk about badge authentication at the copier, it just makes this conversation that much easier. We're using the same partnerships with those providers, ELATEC, RFIDs, HID, to provide the card readers that would then tie into this solution. So we already had the hardware and a partnership to be able to gain more value out of. And then for the dealers themselves who are starting to, diversify that portfolio and provide managed services, and they're already selling card authentication at the copier level. The one thing that I would say, and I can't stress enough for any dealer out there, is if you have sales reps who have successfully sold card authentication or user authentication of any kind to a copier, those same sales reps are going to have an easier time selling AuthX with a card reader to log into a computer.
So this program this goes beyond just print, right? We're talking security that you can now start offering maybe throughout an organization. Is this going to get you in and out of doors? Is this going to get you, is this expanding what our traditional dealers have been able to offer? Is this a new area for them?
Yeah,
Dom,
absolutely. So for
Ross,
a
you
lot of
take it.
sorry.
Whoever. You got it first.
I've been working at this for a while, so I'm a little gung ho.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
It's the
apologize, but
passion behind it, Ross, and we love it.
yeah, that's right. I'm very passionate about this and very grateful to have this opportunity to bring this to our reseller channel throughout the Americas. And so this is an expansion of capabilities to do badge access or secure user access to computer workstations, to laptops, to physical workstations, shared computers. This is really an expansion into, we know that a lot of dealers have already started to break out into the space of, I'm going to provide you with a monthly retainer for us to provide you IT services, for us to help with cybersecurity and your computers and all these other things. This is an enhancement to that, or even an addition to that, right? Especially dealers who are already in that space. And for everyone else who says, hey, well, we're still kind of more of your traditional copier, printer, vendor, and dealer. This is a great opportunity for them to expand outside of that and say, we offer for our customers a passwordless solution. Very hot topic these days. Users don't have to remember their passwords anymore. This is a single sign-on solution. When I log into my computer, it'll also open and log me in to specific applications that I need for my industry, right? Like a law firm has client billing software. I want that client billing software to pop right up and have me logged in the moment I tap my badge. So streamlining user workflows well beyond the printer and the copier. This is a new focus and a new direction to say that our focus is really around the workstations themselves and the user's capability to get into not only their computer workstation, but the applications that they need for their day-to-day.
I love it because I haven't seen really anything like this coming out yet from our world. I go to all the meetings, BTA, and a lot of the peer groups, and obviously I've visited a lot of dealers, and that's the only place you ever see something like this. Is maybe a one-off dealer has picked something up, but you guys have decided this is going to be part of your program. Dominic, what's the program look like? How does engagement work? Training? You train your whole sales team on it, or you service? So tell us what it looks like from your side.
Yeah. It's just like any product that we pick up, and not meaning any product in terms of functionality, but our go-to-market strategy. So before I get into that, Ross, I did want to mention, the tagline, what Ross was talking of. It's a great way to offer additional product and services and diversify your portfolio. Right. So getting into that space where our customers, our dealers are partners are selling into an environment and having the ability to add and sell additional services just continues to make them sticky, right? Answer your question then, Andy, is like any other product, right? It's taken us some time. We've been working on this for the past 6 months, and primarily because we have to be prepared to be able to be the experts for our dealer channel. So we are now at that point, and the training and the sales enablement and the marketing and all those tool sets will be provided by ecoprintQ to our partners, right? So we will go to market with regionally, training the sales reps, training the solution reps, not necessarily be an expert on the product, but be able to identify opportunities when they go in and they sell.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What I also like about it is in this time of big tariff conversations, it seems like there's probably not as much impact on this type of a sale as there would be on a pure hardware sale. You might get hit maybe with the readers or with the cards, but overall, I would imagine this is software based, Jeremy.
It is software. So it's cloud native, hosted in the cloud. So that's one of the things that we've really done. As we were developing this platform, we talked to a lot of people that are looking for something like it or maybe using a competitor, and we heard kind of where they see the roadblocks. And we wanted to adapt that into our platform. We're extremely user friendly, meaning we want to build a platform for our users. We don't want to build it out of our mind, right? And one of the big things is cost, that hurdle to ownership, that first upfront cost for the hardware, servers, things like that some of our competitors need to run their platform. So we built it all in the cloud. We can manage it from the cloud. We can deploy it from the cloud. I can be sitting here in my office and deploy it for a 10,000 user hospital or manufacturing group directly from here. So ease of use and price conscious is really what we heard, along with the support and transparent pricing. And that's really what we put out in front of the clients and out in the market. And we've had success so far.
Awesome. Awesome. Ross, why don't you tell me a little bit? I'm going to guess verticals. Healthcare's got to be a biggie. Where else do you see this? Where are the sweet spots for this?
Absolutely. So, healthcare is obviously going to be a big one, but you also have to think about warehouses and manufacturing, right? Where they have proprietary information that's on their networks for things that they're developing or working on. Universities. There's going to be a huge play in government. There's also going to be a great play in finance, banking, and those types of industries as well. So it really does fit across the board. But you also have to keep in mind where we sit today in terms of what is driving the decision-making for every company across the board. And that is that passwords are your most, it's your weakest point for someone who's a malicious actor to get on your network. So regardless of the industry that you fall into, if you've ever been hacked, you're a great customer candidate because you realize, like, holy crap, someone was able to send a phishing email, they got the person's password, and now they're in, right? Well, if you take out the password and everything's badge, and someone gets an email that says, hey, put in your password, you're going to look at that and say, I don't really use my password for that. I use a badge, or I use facial recognition, or I use a push notification on my phone. So while there are key industries that this does apply to, and you'll definitely have kind of hit the ground running success, every customer across the board in any reseller's portfolio should be someone that they talk to in terms of how customers can increase their security. And I'll make one other key point on that. Because companies are constantly being hacked and sought after, right? You think of that being the big guys. Well, the smaller the company you are, the easier you are to be hacked. So you're definitely still a strong candidate. And now there's this new thing that people are paying for called cybersecurity insurance. And what's a great way to lower your premiums as a company? Introduced a security solution that prohibits, mitigates, and reduce risk around passwords and authentication.
So Ross, not only do those particular verticals leverage and utilize the products, but we've adapted and we're actually rolling it out internally. Ease of use of functionality, being able to authenticate and single sign-on into multiple apps and platforms, it makes us and helps us with our efficiency rates.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I want to address something that some people may watch this and think to themselves, well, hang on now. If I'm a Microsoft user, Teams pops up for me, my email pops up for me. There's a lot of things that I'm single sign-on logged into out of the box. Why wouldn't I use Microsoft? And there's actually a great answer for that. At the end of the day, every industry has niche applications that they need to use. And let's take our paper cut resellers as an example. We have a tool called Multiverse, right? And that Multiverse tool gives you access to your entire customer portfolio. The last thing you want is someone with your email and password to see your entire paper cut customer portfolio. So all of these niche applications for any given industry provide that opportunity to say, what can you do outside of Microsoft based apps? Because yeah, Microsoft does a good bit of that for Teams and other Microsoft based applications, but every industry across the board, bar none, has unique niche applications and software solutions that they're looking for, and certain requirements that go hand in hand to making sure that those things are secured.
So bringing this out to the dealers, what's that look like? What's the training? Are you going to train the sales reps? Or are you just bringing it to the principal and you say, hey, we've got a product to put in your portfolio, figure it out. Like what does that look like as far as I'm a dealer, I sign up. How do I engage? Ross, what you seem like you would be the guy for this.
Thank you, Andy, and you're spot on. A couple of things. First of all, here in June, we're going to be having our first partner-facing webinar announcing this great partnership and talking about some of those next steps. Our goal is to provide all of our resellers with what we call a sales enablement kit. It's everything from customer-facing brochures and materials to talk tracks to key questions to ask to uncover opportunities. Those are the things that we've been working on in the last couple of months. Once a reseller has decided to onboard AuthX into their portfolio, they'll work with the same channel managers that they've always worked with based on the territory that they belong to. And those channel managers will engage directly with those resellers to provide personalized training. There's no one size fits all, right? Because some dealers do more in healthcare, whereas another dealer does more in education, whereas another dealer doesn't do copiers. They do managed services. We have plenty of partners that don't mess around with copiers or printers at all. And we want to make sure that we tailor the training based on the specific markets that our resellers serve, but also the types of sales reps and go-to-market strategies that they have for them internally.
Nice. Very cool. Jeremy, quick question for you, and then we'll bring it over to Dominic and kind of wind things up. This is a $7 billion a year. This dealer channel is, estimated at $7 billion a year. It's a big channel. A lot of companies don't think about the opportunity here. Now that you're getting into it, you're learning a little bit more about how these guys work. What are your thoughts on working with copier dealers, traditional old school office technology resellers?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, working with ecoprint has been fantastic. Again, to your point, it's our first time kind of dipping our toes there. Typically, we're more in MSPs and things along those lines, managed service providers. But again, I met Dom at a partner show in Germany. We kicked it off. We had a good time. We really got to know each other, felt comfortable with each other. We talked a little bit about it, and then we got back, and Dom's very reserved and kind of quiet, and then he got back and he sticked Ross on me, and that was it, right? All of a sudden, a lot of energy came, but more than anything, I saw the passion, right? There's so much work on my side. I can't speak for them. I know how much work they do, but there's so much work that you have to pick your partners carefully, or you just sit there and you get everything to market ready, and then they do nothing, and you're like, okay, well, that was a waste of a couple months, right? Bring that on. And these guys, their passion came through. Their go-to-market made so much sense. Ross had an opportunity in the pipeline within like a week and a half, before we had even told anybody about this. So it's been great. It's been a great relationship. We're so excited about kicking this off. We're so excited to tell the world that we're part of the ecoprint family now. And the point that's been made over and over again is it's in my opinion, such an easy step. They have cards already. They're used to logging into the printers. When we talked earlier about the verticals, we do have these complex workflows that are specific to verticals, especially healthcare, manufacturing, things like that. But one of the biggest pieces of our pie here is self-service password reset. So having the ability to not have to call the support desk, to not have to call the help desk to reset a password, people completely unless you're in that, unless you're one of those people at a help desk, you don't realize how much that brings down your day, like how much you're constantly resetting passwords. So giving them the ability to go in, multi-factor authenticate, reset their own password is such a big aspect of this platform in itself. So yeah, we can talk about all these different verticals where it makes the most sense, but everyone has to reset their passwords. So
Mhm.
really, AuthX can play anywhere in that group.
Well, just a little chunk of information. I think I got this from an IBPI conference. It was something like 7 out of 10, the 10 biggest MSPs are traditional copier companies.
Yeah.
These guys, they may not have gotten there first, but they're getting there. And,
Mhm.
they've got the money behind them. They've got a different level of support than a traditional MSP. They do have a lot to offer. So I think this is a product that should fit right in with where a lot of them are going. Certainly, I think anybody who's got to deal with passwords in any way, even if you're not doing MSP services, I would imagine with the card readers, just the signing on, the secure sign-ons with your own hardware. God, that just seems like it would make it so much easier. So I could definitely use that because, I mean, we all have that problem keeping track of these passwords. And you're right, that is your most vulnerable point. I was at a presentation a few years ago, ECS 2 years ago, and ConnectWise used me as an example of what they were able to find. They had my permission, but they found all this stuff on the dark web. They got some passwords. They got into a couple. They set up some fake events through Evite or something like that. And it was just a spoof, but they had the inside of my house. I mean, it's there, right? And if you can bring it down and just make it easier, so you've got some technology that just allows you to just when you see something like that, just essentially hit a button and reset, right? And everything changed. Everything's secure again. You can be using the most. I mean, you probably could use pretty long, pretty tight passwords, I would imagine. Probably a lot better than what I'm using, which if you were at that conference, you would know what I'm using because it was up. So anyway, I love the idea. Dominic, I'm going to let you bring this home, finish up, but just tell us give us like the 30-second pitch,
Yeah.
why a dealer would want to do this. They're already working with you. They already are focused on so many different things. Why this? Why did you bring it? And
Yeah.
why should they work with you on it?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, statement, comment. So diversify your portfolio. We are consistently looking to see what we can offer our dealer channel to stay relevant and position themselves to continue to win and retain their customer base. So the more sticky that we can get them and the products and services that we can offer, that's what we're looking at. So I neglected to say the fourth element or the key factor that we look at when we look into companies. One of them was beers at Oktoberfest. Jeremy had a great time, and Jeremy and I had a great time. We shared a couple of beers in Germany at Oktoberfest, and that's what really sealed the deal. No.
I was wondering when you said Germany. I've been
so
to many
so
Oktoberfest, and that is a great place to do business. I
oh
will
yeah.
will agree.
So at the end of the day, I really encourage all ecoprintQ or even non-ecoprintQ partners, if you're not aware of who ecoprintQ is or what we do, please reach out, look at our website, www.ecoprintq.com, and there's a map. Click on the map. It'll show you who the channel manager is that supports that map. And then please reach out and get in touch with them because this is an offering that you don't want to be left behind on.
Well,
Yeah.
I love it, and what I think is so cool about it is that it's needed and it's unique, right? I just I go to these conferences and I see the same types of products over and over again. There's a lot of companies doing unified communications. There's a lot of companies offering managed print services. There's just a lot of companies offering different, but this is very. I don't know what the word is I'm searching for, but it's perfect, right? It's just every customer needs this, big or small. Um, you're simplifying something that everybody it's just is a nightmare for everyone to just monitor. And I would imagine the bigger you are, the more challenging it gets. You start getting, like you said, Jeremy, the help desk issues. Not that it's an issue, that's the person's job, but man, if you could cut that back, right, just by simplifying this process and adding a layer of technology on to take this off of to unburden them. I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I think every customer would love to have something like this. So great partnership, exciting for you guys. Thank you for coming on today and sharing it with us. This was awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Andy.
for having us.
Thanks, Andy.
Good talking to you. Take care, and we'll see you soon.